rain pounded heavily against the windows, each droplet a dull thud echoing in the oppressive silence of the house. I stared out into the darkness, waiting for something, anything, to break the monotony of the storm. As the wind howled through the trees, the power flickered, then died, plunging the room into blackness. I fumbled for the flashlight I kept on the mantel, its beam slicing through the dark. A soft knocking echoed from the front door, barely audible over the storm. It was a sound both foreign and familiar. Heart pounding, I moved cautiously toward the door, the flashlight's beam trembling in my hand. As I reached for the doorknob, the knocking came again, more insistent this time. I hesitated, my breath visible in the cold air. There I was, standing on the precipice of the unknown. The flashlight beam flitted across the peephole, casting an elongated shadow on the floor. Taking a deep breath, I peered through the small glass circle. 2 figures stood on the porch, their outlines distorted by the rain-streaked glass. Children, I thought, feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. "Please let us in," a voice called out, muffled by the door and the storm, yet unnervingly clear. It was the soft cadence of a child's plea, yet something in the tone prickled the hair on the back of my neck. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door. As it swung open, a gust of wind swept inside, bringing with it the scent of rain-soaked earth. Standing before me were 2 children, heads bowed, their faces hidden beneath dripping hoods. Lightning flashed, illuminating black eyes that stared, unblinking, into mine. They just stood there, the boy and the girl, their hands clasped tightly together. Thunder rumbled, making the ground tremble beneath my feet. I felt a compulsion to invite them in, the words forming on my lips, as if not my own. "Come in," I whispered, stepping aside. The children moved in unison, crossing the threshold with deliberate steps, their shoes squelching against the wooden floor. A sudden shiver ran down my spine as the air grew colder, weighted with a presence I couldn't shake. Once inside, the children moved with a discomforting grace, as if they were intimately familiar with the space. They paused in the living room, unmoving, shadows of the flickering candlelight dancing around them. "Are you alone?" the girl asked, her voice barely a whisper. Her question hung in the air, growing thick and suffocating. "Yes," I lied, compelled to protect some unseen truth. I fought the urge to look over my shoulder, feeling eyes on me from every corner of the room. We sat in silence, the only sound the incessant pattering of rain against the windows. The boy stared at the wall, the girl at me. Her eyes, twin voids, seemed to pierce through the veneer of normalcy. "Why did you let us in?" she asked, her tone devoid of curiosity. The question echoed into my bones, shaking loose memories, old tales of black-eyed children, warnings passed down in hushed whispers. "You needed help," I heard myself say, though the words felt foreign on my tongue. Thunder crashed louder, rattling the windows. The power flickered back to life, casting the room in harsh, artificial light. The children didn't flinch. There was a knock at the door, rapping in a rhythmic pattern that sent chills skittering down my spine. I turned to the children. They were already standing, eyes fixed on the door. I moved to answer it, the compulsion stronger this time, an unspoken command pulling at my limbs. Yet, every instinct screamed for restraint. The rhythm of the knocking quickened, an impatient, urgent beat. My hand grasped the doorknob, feeling a pulse that thrummed in sync with my racing heart. As I opened it, the porch stretched out into the night empty, save for the rain relentlessly lashing the earth. I turned back to face the children. They hadn't moved, their expressions fixed in a mask of perfect calm. "They're here," the girl whispered, her voice a thousand whispers layered into one. The children's presence, once subtle, now threatened to overwhelm, creeping into the walls, the very air. I struggled to breathe, each inhale weighted by fear. "Who?" I managed to ask, but my voice was drowned by the storm's fury. The girl looked at the boy, who nodded almost imperceptibly. She turned back, her gaze drilling into my soul. "You'll see," she promised, a sinister lilt to her words. I felt the walls closing in, suffocating me with an unseen force. I stumbled back, distance from those otherworldly eyes the only solace I could find. The room spun, tilting on its axis. I closed my eyes, praying for clarity, for reality. The storm's roar muted, replaced by a silence so deep it pressed against my skull. When I opened my eyes again, the children were gone. In their place, the room lay in perfect stillness, suffused in an eerie tranquility. Yet the whispers of their promise lingered, a scar on the edge of perception.